Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Nam Nam
Hare
Ram Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram
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 Nam
Ram
Nam Ram
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Nam
Hare
Nam
Hare
Ram
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram
Hare
Nam
Krishna
Nam
Krishna
Ram
Hare
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 Hare Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare
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 Ram
Hare
Nam
Hare
Nam
Ram
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare Hare
Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
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 Ram
Krishna
Nam
Hare
Nam
Krishna
Hare
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 Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Nam
Ram
Nam
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare
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 Ram Hare
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare
Nam
Krishna
Nam
Hare Hare
Ram
Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare
Ram
Nam
Hare Hare
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
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 Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Nam
Krishna
Nam
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna
Hare Ram
Hare
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 Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram Hare
Nam
Hare
Nam
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Nam
Krishna
Nam
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
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 Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Nam
Krishna
Nam
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare
Nam Nam Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Hare
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 Ram
Rama
Ram
Nam
Ram
Nam
Ram
Ram
Hare
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 Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna Krishna
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Hare Hare
Nam Nam
Krishna
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Rama Nam Nam Ram
Ram Ram Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Rama
Krishna
Nam
Krishna
Nam
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare
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 Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Rama
Hare
Nam
Ram
Nam
Hare
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare 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 Krishna
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 Hare
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 Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Nam
Hare Hare
Nam
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama
Hare
Nam Nam
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare Hare Krishna Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Assembled Devotees ki Jai Hare Krishna. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas, welcoming all the devotees to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. I thank all of you for attending this session. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy name which are to be avoided, written by Srila Vyasadeva in Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or to be independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the order of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activity karma kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have a complete faith in chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions also matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining today's Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Let us move on to our next part of the session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all joined this morning?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Vanishri from Bangalore, India. Please accept my humble obeisances. And all glories to Guru and Gauranga. All glories to the assembled devotees on the call. Thank you for providing this wonderful opportunity. I'm grateful to all if you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vanishri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your sweet association and sharing your realizations. Hari Bol.
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण माता जी।
गंधर्विका माता जी, नवरत प्रणाम श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय, प्रीतिदास की संस्थापक। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna, Priti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji. This
Krishna.
is Balavinda from Texas.
Hare Krishna, Balavrinda, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for joining and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. And to all the assembled devotees, this is Megha from Naperville. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mega Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and chanting so beautifully. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Mataji, Dandavat
Vinita
Pranam.
Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my this is Komadiki Dasi from Baltimore. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj and all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Komadiki Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your sweet association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Pranam.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Vinita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees on the call. This is Anita from Sharjah. Hare Krishna, Balavrinda.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your association. All glories to your services. Welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Shri Prabhupada Celebrate Dev Vijay. Dandavat Pranam, Bal Vrinda Gopi.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining early morning, mid morning, and chatting so beautifully. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining early morning, mid morning, and chanting so beautifully. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Nalanda.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving us sweet association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Devi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. This is Sukaka Krishnadas from Chennai. Our glories to Prabhupada, our glories to all the Vaishnavas, and our glories to Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Sukakar Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining every day and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Pooja Arora from Haridwar.
Hare Krishna, Puja Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and sharing your realizations and giving your association. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all the assembled devotees. This is Sushmita from Canada.
Hare Krishna, Shushmita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your association. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all our Guru Maharajas. All glories to all our assembled devotees. This is Nina from Naperville, Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nice to hear your sweet voice, Mataji. Welcome to the call. All glories to your services. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. This is Nitya Narasimha here from Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra.
Hare Krishna, Nitya Narasimha Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining every day in all the calls and giving your association. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Padma from Virginia Mataji. Hare
Hari
Krishna.
Bol, Padma Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving a recitation and wonderful chanting. Mataji, Hare Krishna, welcome to the call. We will start the recording. It's 19. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Let's start. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Sanatan Dharma Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 5th Canto 26th chapter verse number 30. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I request Raj Prabhuji to take over from here and give the brief introduction.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dhanva Pranam to you and all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Shri Guru and Gauranga. This is a brief introduction for His Grace Sanatan Dharma Prabhuji, dear devotees. Sanatan Dharma Prabhuji is a brahmachari from ISKCON Pune. He is disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj and has been practicing Krishna consciousness for more than about 20 years. Prabhuji is a B.Tech graduate from NIT Trichy and has worked as a senior manager with Tata Motors in the past. Prabhuji currently serves as an area management and project development head for the Pune region. He's a counselor, youth and corporate preacher, congregation preacher, secretary at Voice organization, and also a remote mentor for NVCC Pune. Prabhuji knows and preaches in many languages, including English, Hindi, Tamil, Malayalam, Bengali, Marathi, Telugu, and Japanese. Prabhuji has a very good and famous series on Hare Krishna TV, which name is Seedhi Baat Prabhuji ke Saath. It's in Hindi, so you devotees can see also that. It's very beautiful and very informing. So this is a brief introduction for Prabhuji. There is another small thing that Prabhuji asks all the time, and I'm supposed to say that we should switch on our videos if we can, please, dear devotees. Oh, Hari Bol, there is somebody coming on. Nitya Narsimha Das Prabhu ki jai. Thank you. Oh, dear devotees, thank you for coming on. Thank you. Over to you, Vinita Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanva Pranam to you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining and giving your valuable session this morning. We are very fortunate to have you, Prabhuji. Please take over the call, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Chalsa Mataji is there. Lalita Mataji is there. Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari. Very happy to see devotees. Raj Prabhu, this time you're successful. Like many devotees, I see the success of introduction basis on how the devotees are inspired to turn on the videos.
Hare
That's
Krishna.
very nice. Let's start with prayers. Meanwhile, other devotees will also be inspired to turn on the videos. Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshadarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam Mangum Nangayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Shri Chaitanya Vishwaram Paramananda Madhavam. Hare Krishna. I'm very, very happy to see all of you and be with all of you this time, this particular time. It's day, night, evening, afternoon in different places. So let's not discuss about that. We're just happy to be in the present with the Srimad Bhagavatam, with the glories of the Supreme Lord. And with this particular topic, the description of the hellish planets, we are continuing that. All right. So I was given the verse number 30. Is it correct? I'm just checking.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So what all we have discussed so far? So this particular chapter has been discussing the various descriptions of the hellish planets, different portions of the hellish planets, and the punishments which are given in the hellish planets are discussed. Amishra, Andatamishra, Raurava, Maharaurava, Kundipaka, Kala Sutra, Asti Patravana, yes, Sukara Mukha, Andakupa, Krimi Bhojana. So all these things are discussed. Yes. So now we are continuing the journey ahead. And again, as mentioned earlier, the purpose of discussing this section is not exactly, because one may ask this question, come on, why so much of cruelty? Yes. God, we've heard God as very compassionate. But we need to understand that this particular situation has been brought about by all of us. We have invited this particular situation. And we have been mischievous and acting in a very, very abominable manner in our lives. And thus we have invited this particular situation in our life. And most of the population of the world, very unfortunately, is degrading towards a similar situation. So it's the responsibility and all of our duty collectively to preach this message to one and all. That's our responsibility, right? Okay, so we'll go to this particular shloka. 5.26.30. I will read the shloka in prose order. Oh, you have shared it. Okay, fine. अतच यस्त्व इह वा आत्मसंभावनेन स्वयं अदमो जन्म तपो विद्याचार वर्णाश्रमवतो वरीयसो न बहुमन्येतः स मृतक एव मृत्वा क्षार कर्दमे निर्यके अवक्षीर निपातितो दुरंत यातना हि अश्नुते. Can someone help me to read the meaning of this shloka?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I read?
Please, thank you.
Synonyms: Ata, furthermore, cha, also, yaha, anyone who, to, but, yaha, in this life, va, or, atma sambhavanena, by false prestige, swayam, himself, adamha, very degraded, janma, good birth, tapa, austerities, vidya, knowledge, achara, good behavior, varna ashrama vataha, in terms of strictly following the principles of varna ashrama.
You can just read the translation. No problem.
Okay, Prabhuji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation: a low-born and abominable person who is in this life becomes falsely proud, thinking, I am great, and who thus fails to show proper respect to one more elevated than he by birth, austerity, education, behavior, caste, or spiritual order, is like a dead man even in this lifetime, and after death he is thrown head first into the hell known as Sharakardama. There he must suffer great tribulation at the hands of the agents of Yamaraja. Purport also, Prabhuji?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, purport by Srila Prabhupada. One should not become falsely proud. One must be respectful toward a person more elevated than he by birth, education, behavior, caste, or spiritual order. If one does not show respect to such highly elevated persons, but indulges in false pride, he receives punishment in Ksharakardama. Hare Krishna.
Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langaiti girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Shri Chaitanyamishwaram Paramananda Madhavam. Thank you so much for reading the purport. Okay, so we have been discussing various activities where you perform a particular sinful activity. Corresponding to that activity, we have to face certain consequences in the hellish planets. But here, This particular principle is quite a subtle one. Did you observe that? It's a subtle principle. Here we are discussing about one concept which is spoken synonymously. It is about exhibiting pride. It's an internal state, and as a result of which one is not showing respect. Yes, there are two types of mistakes, sins which are performed. One is the sin of commission, and another one is sin of omission. You commit something and one has to pay the penalty for it, and the other one is you don't perform an expected behavior, because of which still one has to undergo sins and sufferings. So this particular aspect speaks about this particular aspect is talking about the mistake of omitting, not giving respect, especially to the elders, to those people who actually deserve respect. This particular shloka teaches us very wonderfully. If you look at the translation, it talks about who all deserve respect. Okay, one who is having a good birth, yes, that person deserves respect. One who is qualified in such a person is called, in one sense, he has a varna vriddha. He's superior in the varna. Then there is austerity. Vriddha means somebody who deserves respect, somebody who's qualified, somebody who's elevated. Tapo vriddha. Jnana vriddha is education. Somebody who's good at behavior. Shila vriddha. Yes. So, or somebody who is superior in spiritual order. Ashrama vriddha. So there are different kinds of vriddhas. Vriddha means, of course, if you look at, in general, this word vriddha means old. It means old. That is vayo vriddha. We're supposed to respect even elders. Vayo vriddha. But apart from that, there are many people who are qualified, who deserve respect. You know what Lord Ramchandra would do? Yes. In Ramayana, there is a mention of Lord Ramchandra's activities. Lord Ramachandra would keep practicing his archery skills. He would keep practicing his archery skills. That's what he would be doing. And whenever he would take a break, the Ramayana says whenever he would take a break, he would go ahead and associate with three types of people. Number one, he would associate with Jnana Vriddha, those who are superior to him in knowledge, in order to get knowledge from them. Second, he would go and associate with people who are Vayo Vriddha. Vayo Vriddha are those who are experienced in terms of they've seen more life, who are elderly, yes, who are aged. Thus, they have more experience of life. So he would go and learn from them. And thirdly, he would go and associate with Shila Vriddha, those people superior in qualities, those people superior in etiquette and behaviors. So Lord Ramachandra, who is Maryada Purushottam, yes, an embodiment of ideal human behavior, yes, an epitome of etiquettes. Such a personality is educating us and teaching all of us how important it is to respect and gain knowledge from such respectful people. All right, in today's class, we are going to be dividing our class into, we're going to be discussing 5 things. First, we'll discuss about this pride. What exactly is this pride and how is it connected to lack of exhibiting respect? Then we are going to be discussing about how people in this world are very proud. General tendencies to be proud in this world. That's the second aspect we're going to discuss. Number 3, we will discuss how this pride can even seep into the Vaishnava community, can even come to the Vaishnavas, to the devotees. Even a devotee, if not vigilant, can become proud. That's the third aspect. Number 4, how do we curb this material pride? And number 5, how do we cultivate spiritual pride? Now, what is the spiritual pride? See, we have been discussing, if you look at Prabhupada purports, Prabhupada would many times use this word false pride. How many of you heard this false pride? Yes, we do. False pride, false ego, false pride. So then if there is something called false pride, there definitely has to be something which is true pride. Is it not? Now you talk about a fake currency. Come on, that is a fake guru. He's a bogus guru. He's a bogus spiritual master. He's a fake guru. The moment you call somebody fake, there has to be a true person. There has to be a true guru. There has to be a bona fide guru, an authentic person. Just like you talk about a fake currency. The moment you talk about fake currency, there has to be real currency. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada is talking so much about this false pride, then definitely there has to be something called as the real pride. So false pride is false material pride. So we are going to be also discussing towards the fag end on cultivating spiritual pride. Yes? Okay. So first, let us analyze this pride. Because in this particular purport as well as the discussion, it is very clear that there's a connection. If one is proud, now this feeling of pride is something which is internal. It can be externally visual, but the externals are quite deceptive, so we cannot exactly find out. The person is, rising his nose, rising his head, having a sense of contempt, arrogance in one's talk. Yeah, the body language, we can find these things out, but that will be quite judgmental. Because pride can be observed practically when one fails to observe the etiquette of respect. This is the connection. When one is proud, one will not show respect, especially to those people who deserve it. And who are the deserve it? We discussed about who are the deserving candidates. We discussed about the different types of Vriddha. Vayo Vriddha, Shila Vriddha, Jnana Vriddha, Tapo Vriddha, Ashrama Vriddha, Varana Vriddha, etc. All of these personalities. Bhagavatam beautifully talks about it. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur extends this concept and he talks about the different types of maryadas or respect given. It's a beautiful book. I'm not getting deep into that because otherwise I will deviate from today's discussion. But he says the Jantu Matrena Maryada. Even if a living entity is occupying the body of a worm in the stool, we should be able to respect even such a living entity because that living entity happens to be a part and parcel of Krishna. This is called Jantur Matrena Maryada. So this is also mentioned by Acharyas. So spirituality, Krishna consciousness is very deep and very fine. The philosophy may be simple, but yet it is very deep and profound when it comes to its application. So I'll be really inspired. Many devotees have turned on their videos. I'm expecting at least the screen, just like we call it houseful show. Yes, we have a houseful show that really inspires the person who is serving. So I have a screen full of devotees. You may be doing your chores, you may be doing your official work. I'll appreciate that, but at least I want to see something moving. Yes, I don't want to see stationary pictures. I'd like to see visuals. So devotees are there is no problem. That will really inspire. Unless you have a low bandwidth or something like that, devotees can turn on. You can continue your activities, your transcendental activities, your services, whatever. But I would like to see, because face is the index of mind. When I see the faces of Vaishnavas, I get to know where my class is going, where we are heading to. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for turning on. Some more devotees have agreed mercifully. Okay, so this particular pride, when does it develop? When this pride develops? Because the pride develops when we dwell, we think, we contemplate, we meditate on our own Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, and Shri. Janma is high birth. Yes, high birth. When we contemplate on that, I am an Indian. Prabhupada would say this many times. I am an American. And we deeply contemplate, how great is India? Why India is great? Because I am born in that country. Yes, because I am born in that country. So there was a student who was asked, which is the best college in the world? He said, KIT. He said, what is this KIT? He said, Kakatiya Institute of Technology. And why is that so, mister? He said, that's because I graduated from there. That's why it's the best college. Similarly, why is India or America the best country? Because I happen to live there. So I'm adding great value. So it's all connected to this word I. Correct? So Janma. I'm born in this particular kula. Yes, in this particular dynasty, in this particular lineage, in this region of the world, this particular ethnicity, this particular race. Why? I belong there. That is why it is great, because I am there. So that is Janma. Correct? Then there is Aishwarya. Aishwarya means one's opulence, one's wealth, one's bank balance, the home that one lives in, the luxurious cars that one travels with. All of these aspects are Aishwarya, the kind of opulent lifestyle. Yes. And when we dwell on it, when you contemplate, oh, I have a BMW. Wow. We all have a BMW, body, mind, and words. We all have it. But I have that BMW, the big one. I have a Chevrolet. I don't know what are the best cars. I'm not aware. You see this? I don't anyway dwell on news of this world, so you all can better tell me. I don't know. I only know some names like BMW, Ford. So I just use the same names. BMW is nice definition. No, that's fact. BMW is body, mind, and words. It was told in one of the sannyas ceremony. It was told devotees were taking sannyas. They were told every sannyasi gets a BMW, and everyone was like, "Wow, ISKCON gives a BMW to every sannyasi. That must be really cool." And what is a BMW? You get a danda. You get a sannyas stick. There are 3 sticks. Actually, there are four. The fourth one is holding the other 3 sticks. And these 3 sticks refer to offering one's mind, body, and words to Krishna. Kayena vacha manasendriya va buddhyatmana va prakriti swabhava karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayana yati samarpayam. You offer your body, mind, and words to Krishna. That is the sannyas danda. That's a BMW. All right. So one can get proud with that one when one dwells on the position. The next is Shruta, the learning. A person may say, I am a graduate. Somebody says, I'm a postgraduate. Somebody may say, I'm a doctorate. Somebody says, I'm postdoctorate. Even postdoctorate is there. So people, they keep studying for 30 years. My God, when are they going to apply what they've studied? 30 years of education, 30, 35 years. There are people having 10, 15 degrees, and they want to ensure that the exact order is followed. Whenever they make a nameplate, they add a degree. So I've seen a person, I've met that person, I've gone to that person's office. He has 30 degrees associated with this. The whole life is just earned degrees. So people have pride in that. So there was one of my PhD students, I've told this earlier to all of you. I just want to repeat myself. So I asked him, so you got a PhD? He said, yes, Prabhu, I got a PhD. What is that? Permanent head damage. Permanent head damage. It's over. That's the PhD I've got. Right? I'm not telling, I'm not a PhD. That devotee told me. I'm glad it's over. I'm done with it. Yes. So in this world, you find even a pauper is proud of his penny. Yes. So how a materialist is proud? In this, we find one of the years, almost 30, 40 years back, there was a legendary heavyweight boxer. His name was Muhammad Ali. Cassius Clay, later on Muhammad Ali. So he would always say, I am the greatest. I am the greatest. Whenever any interviewer would ask, he'll shut them out and he'll say, I am the greatest. I am the greatest. So he was invited in the 84 Olympics in order to lead the Olympic torch. But this person couldn't even lift a cup of tea which was kept in front of him. Why? Because of Parkinson. So they went up to the mother. Media went up to him and asked, so you still believe you're the greatest? He said, yes, I am the greatest fool. He added this one word, I am the greatest fool, because I thought I was the greatest. But in this particular material world, you think you're a hero, you become a zero. You think you're a hero, you become a zero. You think you're a boss, you become an ass. You think you're a boss, you become an ass. But if you think you're a das, you remain bindas. Now this word bindas is a word which is kind. That's why our gurus give us the name Sanatan Dharma. Das. There is das and dasi in everyone's name, because this das will make you bindas. This is taken from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's bhajan. Jeev Krishna Das, ei Vishwas korle ar dukho nai. Radha Krishna bol monore shubhai. So in that particular word, Jeev Krishna Das, ei Vishwas. You just have this particular faith that Jeev Krishna Das, I am Krishna Das. Then you become Bindas. The word Bindas means, oh, super cool. So everybody wants to look cool in this world. So some guys wear the shades, the cooling glasses. Some guys take a cigarette and they smoke it and say, it's cool, man. You're a fool, man. You're holding fire in your mouth. You're inhaling fire and you say that is cool. What is this? Cool. You're a fool. You smoke cigarette and you say it's cool. You're a fool. Right? So people in this world, they try to look cool, but they're fools. But the real super cool are the Vaishnavas. Because everybody's on fire. Samsara dava nalalida loka. Everyone is on fire. But it is a devotee saved. Pranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam praptasya kalyana gunarnavasya vande guru shri charana ravindam. A devotee is saved by Guru, because Guru makes the devotee Krishna Das. Yes, he becomes Bindas. So you find materialistic people because they dwell so much on their Janma Ishwari Shruta Shri, on their high birth, their opulences, their learning, and their beauty. Yes, people are very, very proud of their beauty. That's another thing. People are proud of. That's why you find that this particular, especially generation, they spend a lot of time eating organic food, keto diet. Why? Because you want to look young. Many people talk about anti-aging. So this is a very a concept. Anti-aging. I recently met one of my friends after 12 years. 12 years is called a yoga in Sanskrit. So I met him after 12 years and he said, now this time, of course, he wouldn't call me by my name. So he said, Guruji, Swamiji, he called me Swamiji, Guruji. Can you imagine friend with whom I've studied? He said, Guruji, Swamiji, you look younger than I used to see. What is your secret of anti-aging? I said, Krishna Prasad. Yes, please have it. He said, no, thanks. And why? Because I love to do this anti-aging, but I don't want to lose my hair. I don't want hair fall, free with that. Yeah. So people are so much worried about this beauty and spending a lot of time in beauty parlors, in gymnasiums, jogging, walking, except Krishna consciousness, they want to do everything because they believe they're the body. So I had gone to one of the programs. The person whose home I had gone to was a judge. Yes, and I just completed the class. They gave me a lot of water during the class, so to hydrate myself. So I'd taken water, coconut water, ginger water, so much of water. And after the class was over, I wanted to use the restroom. So I went there. There was an entire bureau inside the restroom, and I was quite intrigued. What would be there inside this? So of course, it's wrong to peep into others' property, but I was eager. I could quote it in class, right? So I just opened it, and I saw on the top there were 25 varieties of hair gels. There were 35 varieties of shampoos and conditioners. Yeah, Garnier, something like that. Of that Garnier Fresh, and then 30-40 different flavors of face wash. Beauty, wow. Face, what is it? Mask, face mask. What do you call it? I don't know. What's that? I never used one. And then different varieties of soaps and ointments for the body. Different oils kept there. Exactly. Just as the body, which part of the body needs which part of this particular lotion, they arranged it so in such a manner. I didn't have a smartphone that time, Android phone. Otherwise, I would have snapped it for all of you. I would have showed you the picture. Not an arrangement. I had a simple one that time. And then as you go down, everything, and there is beard gel. I was not knowing. It was quite weird for me. There's a gel even for the beard. Nowadays, it's a trend. People want to grow their beard because they're lazy. Moisturizers. Thank you for that. Even that was there. You name it, and it was there in the beard. And I was like, wondering, my God, how much amount is spent for this body to keep this body beautiful, which is eventually going to rot and die. It's a fact. But still, one has hope. We shall overcome someday. We have hope deep in my heart. I do believe we shall overcome death someday. That's what people believe. But it's not so. Yes. So that's how materialist is proud of different things. But if you are proud, you'll be humbled. You know what is the difference between humble and humbled? Humble is a person who comes right up to you, folds hands or bows down. He is humble. But who is humbled? Humbled is a person who is walking. He is walking with his head lifted very high, and below his leg, under his feet, comes a brick which he stumbles upon and he falls flat on his nose. Pat! Ah! He screams. And people who, the passerbys, they think, oh my God, he's so humble, but he's not humble. He's humbled because he fell down on his nose. So if you don't become humble, you will be humbled. That's the name of the game in this world. So there are humble devotees and there are humbled people. This is what the world is made of. Going ahead, how can it now the second part of our discussion? Yes, how a devotee is proud. How can this pride seep into devotees? So before we talk about pride, let's take about some practices which are not very healthy in terms of lack of respect that come in devotees. You can also add, please contribute in the chat. We may not be able to because I have so much to discuss and very less time. So I'll be reading out your chat messages. right? One thing is not calling each other Prabhu or Mataji. Not good. This is a sheer sign of disrespect. We don't do that. We call the other person Prabhu. In fact, I've made it a point to call even a newcomer Prabhu. Yes, somebody's brand newcomer, somebody is very young, still call them Prabhu. That's good. We remain humble, right? We remain humble. In case of Matajis, we call Mataji. Very important. It's very important. So once there was a lady who told me, I'm a brahmachari, don't call me Mataji. Mataji's look makes me feel so old. Yes, but what to do? You're a potential Mataji. And I said, well, fine, I'll call ma'am. I said, no, don't call me ma'am. See, you have a choice. Either I'll call you ma'am or mom. Which one do you prefer? Ma'am or mom? That's our culture, Mataji. Yes, at least, so there's a comment, just calling Prabhuji and Mataji for namesake. It's okay, at least namesake, let's start that culture. Not offering obeisances. Nowadays, there's another culture. Not offering obeisances when we meet devotees. Not showing respect to the super soul who is present. So there are different versions I've seen. So first thing is, devotees bow down and offer obeisances and say, Vancha kalpatarubhya. So that is best. Now, otherwise, devotees, what they do is they touch the ground and touch their head. Now, from where did this culture come? We don't know. Like this. Prabhu, I'm taking dust from your feet. What is this? Another one is Vancha Prabhu. Vancha Mataji. Vancha. 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 Now, where does this Vancha culture come from? Shortcut. So we do that even in names. Yes. We call somebody's, I'll just be taking some examples. Please don't. Nitya Narasimha Prabhu. Nitya! Haribol! Nitya Prabhu. Yes, or we have Sukhakar Krishna Prabhu. Sukhakar Prabhu. No half names. Guru Maharaj has given them full names. We should call full names. You call it completely. It will take some pain. Yes, it will be painful. Come on, it's so very long. His Grace Keshav Kripa Sindhu Bindu Das. My God. Half of the time will get over. It's okay. It's all right. We have to do the austerity. Guru Maharaj has given the blessing to name them. Let's do the austerity of calling that out. All we have to do is just call in the complete name. And there's no problem adding His Grace when you address somebody. Because we have to remember, ultimately, what is our society? International Society for Krishna Consciousness. His Grace, capital H. It is Krishna's grace or her grace. Srimati Radharani's grace. We have to remember that grace. Correct? Very important. So, some short names. And sometimes it becomes nicknames also. Calling nicknames, that's not Vaishnava culture. We may do that, but eventually you will find we being disrespectful. We're becoming proud also. This being disrespectful and pride is deeply connected. That's what this purport is all about. So we have to be careful. Better give the respect, remain humble, and get the mercy. Correct? Or initials sometimes. SDD, KD, VGDD, LP, DP, ARP. What is this? RCP. What's happening? We are creating riddles for people. Come on, guess. Guess who is it? We don't do that. It may happen in mails for practical management purposes. We may do that, but we don't address people like that. Yes, we don't do that. That's again a part of culture. So this is about lack of respect in a community. There can be much more. You all can also add your points. Another aspect: how does a devotee get proud? Devotee may get proud. Oh, I am a good speaker. When I speak, people laugh. When I speak, people stay awake. Nobody sleeps. Or when I speak, people come to my class. When I speak, people turn on the videos. Okay. Different aspect. Somebody may be proud. I'm a good singer. Yes, when I sing, my kirtan is announced. The temple hall is full. Yes, it's full. Yeah, Raj Prabhu, thank you. Beautiful sloka recitation. I'm excellent in slokas. I'm too good with Sanskrit. I know it really well. But I'm a great cook. Yes, when I cook, the Mahaprasadam plate of the Lord is emptied before even it comes out of the altar. For such a great cook, people crave for my offerings that I make to the Lord. I'm such a great dresser. that when I upload the photos of my deities on Insta, they get Insta gets instant 1 million views. Wow. Yes. I'm a great book distributor. I've distributed um, I distribute 100 books every week. Oh, nice chanting. Amazing point. I'm a good chanter because I don't sleep. I'm a good chanter. The guy sleeps, that Bhantaji sleeps, but I am a great chanter because I don't sleep. Neither is my mind distracted. I'm a good chanter. Learning, I've studied all Srila Prabhupada books. I've studied all supplementary materials. I've studied all books by the current Acharya Vrinda also. I know everything. I've studied the entire Veda base. Correct? So these are all different aspects which can make a devotee proud. Now, I'd like to take out a section from Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, I'm a nice listener. I make good notes. Yeah, many things. I have full mercy of Krishna. My God, that's a very, very good imagination. Big donation. Yes, I'm a great donor. The temple is running because of me, because on my donation. If I stop donating, then that's it. The temple is not going to remain. You cannot say, I am so humble. This is the height. This is the height. I wake up early and chant and finish all my rounds before 4:30. I do wonderful service to Vaishnavas. I serve almost 50 Vaishnavas a day. Wow, these are different aspects one can be proud of if one dwells on it. Yes, Prabhuji, when they do for praise and recognition, then I read in Gita about humility 13.8. Yes, amanitvamadam bitvam, mahimsa shanti marjam. I do my sadhana perfectly, etc., etc. You got the point. Maya can never touch me because I'm doing service so well. All right. So you got the point. Let's go ahead. So I'd like to take a section from Srimad Bhagavatam. He's a very celebrated personality, a very celebrated disciple of Srila Vyasdev. And usually when somebody is celebrated, now I'm going to give you two instances and you have to observe this very attentively and you have to find out parallels and commonality. Okay, so please be attentive. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 78th chapter. I'll show it. I'll give you the visuals. Don't worry. Shloka number 21 onwards. Can we have devotees quickly reading? One by one. Different devotees can read. Yes. Start. Somebody could read this.
Hare Krishna. Recognizing the Lord upon his arrival, the sages who had been engaged in their sacrificial rituals for a long time greeted him properly by standing up, bowing down, and worshipping him.
Who is this Lord?
Lord Balram?
Yes, Balaram. He had come to Naimisharanya. Actually, there were sages, 88,000 sages who had assembled there to perform sacrifice. But they got association of Roma Harshan Sut. And he became their the person who would guide them, direct them. And he gave them renunciation. As soon as he came in, everybody's heart, they developed renunciation. At that particular time, he was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. Then the Balramji arrives at the location and everybody recognizes the presence of Lord and stands up. But then
Hare Krishna, after being thus worshipped along with his entourage, the Lord accepted a seat of honor. Then he noticed that Romaharshana, Vyasadeva's disciple, had remained seated. Hare Krishna.
This is a very, very impudent behavior. It may look very naive. It may look, okay, come on, this is such a small thing. It's nothing big, but no, this is a sheer impudence. When the Lord is arriving, we are supposed to give the respect that is due. It's very important.
Lord Balram became extremely angry upon seeing how these members of Sutta caste had failed to stand, bow down, or join his palms, and also how he was sitting above all the learned Brahmanas.
Yeah. So basically, again, the mistake of omission. That is what we are focusing on here. Mistake of omission. He omitted. Ideal was to stand up, offer obeisances, and then join hands and greet the Lord. It's very important to greet the Lord also. Jai Jai Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Bhagwan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Bhagwan Ki Jai.
Jai.
Like that. Of course, Jagannath deities are in Anavasar. Otherwise, you greeted them also. We don't disturb them right now. They're sick. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
The class is not yet over. So it's on. Next.
Lord Balram, because this fool born from an improperly mixed marriage sits above all these brahmanas and even above me, the protector of religion, he deserves to die.
You may be a good presenter of Shastras, but if you are a bad representer of Shastras, then your preaching is very dangerous. That's the whole lesson. Representation comes before presentation. That's the whole principle that's being addressed in this particular section. He's sitting above the Lord. Yes, this is very important. We need to follow. We should never ever sit at a level which is above the Lord. It's an etiquette. It's supposed to sit below the Lord, right? We should take care of. So we never face our back towards the Lord. We never show our feet towards the Lord. So these are all simple etiquettes. They may be very simple, but the very fact that one is not vigilant about this, one is completely oblivious to this, shows that the person is completely surcharged with pride. And the person was learned in Shastra. It was not that he was naive and innocent. He was completely learned. I will read this. Although he is a disciple of the divine sage Vyasa and has thoroughly learned many scriptures from him, including the law books of religious duties and the epic histories and Puranas, all this study has not produced good qualities in him. Rather, his study of the scriptures is like an actor's studying his part, for he is not self-controlled or humble and vainly presumes himself a scholarly authority, though he has failed to conquer his own mind. Very important. Very important. The Shastric studies are supposed to produce good qualities. Shastric studies is supposed to produce humility. Vidya dhanati vinayam. Vinayadvati patratvad. Patratva dhanam apnoti dhanadan dharma dhanasukham. So this particular shloka, the first thing is about Vidya dadati vinayam. When you get knowledge, you're supposed to be humble. But we find in this material education, everybody gaining material education is getting material pride. Nobody is experiencing humility. Even there was a mention about one of the chat. The first thing that you develop, the culture of knowledge, amanitvam, madambitvam, ahimsa, shanti marjanam, acharya, upasanam, saucham, stairyam, atma, vinigraha. We see the 20 items of knowledge. The first item is about amanitvam, being humble. How should one sit when the speaker is far from the deities, which would require one to either have the back to the speaker or the back to the deities? Okay. I'm unable to visualize the situation. It will take some time. Speaker is far. Okay, to require either, okay, one of them. Well, we try our level best to not face our back to somebody who's close in proximity immediately. So we don't directly show our back to deities or the speaker. If we are close to the speaker, well, we turn towards the speaker. We're close to the deities, we turn towards the deities. Okay, there are questions being asked. Where the question answers round is yet to begin. We are not yet. We are still in between. So I request you all to please hold your questions. I will take them, definitely. Hopefully, if Raj Prabhu allows me, I'll take. Okay, now let's look at one more person. Yes, let's complete Romaharshan Sut and then go one more section ahead. Yes. The very purpose of my descent, Balramji's thinking, into this world is to kill such hypocrites who pretend to be religious. Indeed, they are the most sinful rascals. In one sense, our bhakti becomes pretentious if we have pride. In fact, we have 5 things. This is mentioned by Kapila to Mother Devahuti. He says, Abhisandaya yo himsam dambam matsaryamevava sambrambi cha pratak bhavam mai kuryasa tamasi. Such a kind of bhakti is called ignorance, a devotional service in the mode of ignorance. If we have these 5 things. Easy to remember, it's called PAVES formula. I made an acronym, PAVES, P-A-V-E-S. It paves your path towards hell. So first P is pride. Yes, pride. The next one is anger. V for violence, E for envy, and S for having a separatist mentality from Lord. So if these things, these qualities are possessed, we are performing bhakti and we are feeling proud. We are performing bhakti and we feel anger towards other Vaishnavas. We are performing bhakti, but we are acting in a violent manner towards other Vaishnavas. We are performing bhakti, but we are acting out of envy towards other Vaishnavas. And separatists, we are separating out Vaishnavas, disconnecting Vaishnavas. Then we need to understand that our bhakti, we are situated in the mode of ignorance. We are practicing bhakti in ignorance. Just this explained by Kapila to Mother Devabhuti. So such kind of bhakti will not produce the fruit of Krishna Prema. So you have to be very vigilant to curb all these tendencies. So this is pretentious bhakti. Yes, it is pretentious bhakti. So Balramji, thus he took a kusha grass, a blade of grass, and he invested it with the potency of Brahmastra and killed him. He just killed Romaharshan Sutta because he didn't deserve to live. You have to, especially a preacher, a person who's a leader, he has to be very, very careful to represent the Shastras and the Supreme Lord and his Guru in a proper manner. Okay, let's look at one more section. There's another interesting section. There's a very, very famous section from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Any guesses? It comes in the 6th canto. So I've given you the chapter. The chapter is entitled Indra Offends His Spiritual Master Brihaspati. Can somebody quickly read this?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Please go ahead.
Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, once upon a time, the king of heaven, Indra, being extremely proud because of his great opulence of the three worlds, transgressed the law of Vedic etiquette and seated on his throne. He was surrounded by the Martus, Vasus, Rudras, Adityas, Ruvis, Vishwadevas, Sadhyas, Aswini Kumaras, Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas, and by great saintly persons. Also surrounding him were the Vidyadharas, Asparas, Kinnaras, Pattagas, birds, and Urgas, snakes. All of them were offering Indra their respects and services, and the Asparas and Gandharvas were dancing and singing with a very sweet musical instrument. Over Indra's head was a white umbrella as effulgent as the full moon, fanned by yak-tail, whisks and sobbed with all the paraphernalia of a great king. Indra was sitting with his wife, Sachi Devi, who occupied half the throne. When the great sage Brihaspati appeared in that assembly, Brihaspati, the best of the sages, was spiritual master of Indra and the demigods, and was respected by the demigods and demons alike. Nevertheless, although Indra saw his spiritual master before him, he did not rise from his own seat or offer a seat to his spiritual master, nor did Indra offer him a respectful welcome. Indra did nothing to show him respect. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Romaharshan Sutta is not regarded as a devotee. He was a scholar, right? But if you look at Indra, he's a devotee. I'll go ahead. Brihaspati knew everything that would happen in the future. Seeing Indra's transgression of etiquette, he completely understood that Indra was puffed up by his material opulence. Although able to curse Indra, he did not do so. Instead, he left the assembly and in silence returned to his home. Indra, the king of heaven, could immediately understand his mistake. Realizing he had disrespected his spiritual master, he condemned himself in the presence of all the members of the assembly. Now, this is one good thing that he does. Indra and Romaharshan, if you see, Romaharshan was least bothered. Indra, on the other hand, could at least recognize his mistake. Now, what was common between both of them? Did you observe something common? You can all put it in the chat or you can speak it out in the microphone. Either ways is okay.
Pride.
Both were kings.
Yes, both were leaders. They were occupying a post. They were leaders. They were occupying a post. What else?
Puffed up.
Well, someone's here, Guru.
Yeah, both were puffed up. Something in why? What led to them being puffed up? Somebody could say that. Disrespectful for spiritual master. Yes, Balram is Guru, Adi Guru, and he was disrespect to his own spiritual master. Both disrespected the Lord. Very true. Holding higher self-esteem. Well, it is much more than self-esteem. It's false pride. Didn't offer a seat because the position. Yes, mainly they were occupying a post. Number two, they had a huge following. Did you just see the list of names? We wouldn't have even heard so many names. Vishwavasus, Ribus, Apsaras, Kinnaras, and even there he was having a following of 88,000. So it may happen sometimes that there may be a devotee who's on YouTube or giving classes, and he may have a better following than his guru, better following than his Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru, and one might take pride. Oh, I think now I'm better than my guru. Might happen. Yes, this tendency may come. So followers come, one becomes proud. And in case of Indra, and the difference between Indra and Romaharshan, Indra was puffed up because of the worship and opulence that he was referring to, the opulence that he had. Sachi was sitting, he was sitting on the throne of Indra, everybody was so much serving him, and Romaharshan was proud because of his knowledge. But otherwise, occupying a post and having an influence over people, this is something that intoxicates one. This is called as Madhanda. Mad means pride, and Anda means becoming blind because of false pride. That's what happens. So this can even happen in Vaishnava circle. We have to be very careful. Correct. So now, what exactly do we do to curb this false pride? How can this false pride be curbed? So let us discuss on that aspect. So first thing that one has to do is one has to come in touch with the Shastras. It's very important. Come in touch with Shastras. Because the Shastras, they tell you the truth. The scriptures, Prabhupada books. The moment you open, they speak the truth. And what is the truth? Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. The truth is very clear. Krishna says very clearly, there is nothing superior to me. I am the greatest. Yes, don't think you are the greatest. I am the greatest. So that is that's something which is not coming out of sheer pride. That's the truth. God is great. Krishna is the greatest. That is one thing. Yes, when you open the Shastras, you also find this. Vani Shri Mataji is telling that Yadyad Vibhuti Matsatvam Shrimad Urjitameva Tattadeva Vagachatvam Mamatejom Sasambhavam. Bhagavad Gita 10 chapter 42nd sloka tells that everything is but a spark of splendor. Every opulence that we find in this world, including our own opulence, is nothing but a spark of splendor of Krishna. That is why it is very important that we access the Shastras. We access the Shastras, and thus we become humble. We become humble when you read the Shastras. That's the first step. That is why Prabhupada said, read my books. Not just for gaining information, but to also remain humble. Don't be puffed up, Prabhupada would say. Because you open the Shastras, it's very clear. Janma, somebody is proud of one's own. Janma Ishwara Shutashri. Let's counter this. Janma, what about Janma? Oh, you read Bhagavatam, what is the first verse? Janma Adyasya Yataha. Ultimately, the person from whom everything is emanated is Krishna. What have you to be proud of? Yes. What are you? If God weren't there, what is the question of your birth? What is the question of your existence? Number one. Okay. Then Aishwarya. Somebody is proud of one's Aishwarya. If you see, in Aishwarya, there is people are associating with this word Pati, especially in India. Somebody having $1,000 is called Hazarpati. Yes, somebody having lakhs of rupees is called Lakhpati, $1 million. Yes, somebody having $100 million, $1 billion is called billionaire is called Karodpati. Yes, $100 billion or zillion dollars is called Karabpati. And somebody having nothing is called Roadpati because he's on the road. Homeless, Roadpati. So everybody's having Pati. Karodpati, Karabpati, Lakhpati, Roadpati, but Krishna is Lakshmipati. Shriyapati, Yajnapati is Lakshmipati, like that. So this, we have to remember the Lakshmipati. So all wealth belongs to Krishna. All wealth of the entire creation belongs to Krishna because he is Jagannath. Correct? Okay, one may be proud of one's own knowledge, but where is the source of all knowledge in this world? Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. It's Krishna who gave the knowledge to Brahma, and that's how knowledge has come. Vedas have come. Another thing, the knowledge that we have come, we are receiving, we are trying to preach. This is knowledge coming from Guru Parampara. Ivam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajarishyo Vidu. But this knowledge is coming from Krishna. So just remember the source of everything. See, if you want to solve a problem, go to the roots. Just go to the roots. Similarly, you want to arrive at a solution, again go to the roots. So neither way we have to go deep, we have to go to the roots. And the root is always Krishna. Sarva Karana Karanam. Again, somebody is proud of one's beauty. Oh, Venum Kwanantam Aravinda Talaya Taksham Barhavatam Samitistam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Pakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. If there can be millions and millions of cupids, Krishna's beauty surpasses their beauty also. Kantar Pakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. 10 million cupids' beauty is also surpassed by Krishna, much more than that. That is Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So how beautiful is Krishna? The beauty in this world is just a spark of Krishna's splendor. So thus, accessing scriptures, that's one way. Number two, the second way is by performing menial services. That's another way to curb false pride, performing menial services. The services which don't actually, you don't come to the spotlight. Yes, there's something called white collar services. Yeah, we do white collar services. We are always in the spotlight, like sitting on the Vyasasana and giving lectures. Yes, or getting book distribution scores. There are white collar services, being the pujari. But at the same time, we have to do certain services which don't earn us the limelight. We have to be off the limelight. Yes, we can just wash the vessels in the temple. We can sweep the temple when nobody's around. Chappal stand service. In some temples, we even have the chappal stand service, arranging the footwear of the devotees. By this way, we remain humble. In either way, services earn us mercy. But there's a tendency, because we have a material outlook towards even services. We think some services are white collar services, other services are blue collar services. Or this is nothing. So it's very, very important that we all render menial services. Cleaning the toilets, even Prabhupada would say that. We do this, we become humble. It's very important. Number two. Number three, it's very important that we, all of us, associate with devotees who are superior to us. Senior association. At least whom we recognize they are superior to us in bhakti. By such superior association, senior association, we sit and here sitting at the lotus feet. Then one's false pride is curbed. Dambam mahadupasya. Bhagavatam says, Dambam mahadupasya. And you serve those devotees. You serve the great souls, our false pride is curbed completely. So we render service. The best service you can do is to listen and follow the instructions of the great souls. Yes, this is how we can curb the material pride. Okay, the last part of our lecture. So far we have discussed what is pride. We have discussed how a materialist is proud, how pride can even seep into Vaishnavas. And we have discussed on curbing material pride. How exactly do we curb material pride? So the last part is we have to cultivate spiritual pride. Yes. So we have to cultivate spiritual pride. What is the spiritual pride? Spiritual pride is actually one thing that makes us humble, exactly. But still, it is called spiritual pride. But the spiritual pride makes us humble. We become humble. Okay, so you are all going to help me. You are all going to help me out in this. What are the different ways by which we can develop spiritual pride?
Real ego. Spiritual pride means real ego. That
yes,
means I am
real
servant
ego.
of Krishna.
Very good.
I'm servant of Krishna.
Yes, exactly. His Grace Sukakara Krishna Prabhu is saying that I am the servant. I am Krishna Das. That is the spiritual pride. Very good. Any other? Serving. I am a servant of my spiritual master. Very good. I'm servant of devotees. So I'm a servant of Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. The more we develop this identity very strongly and firmly with deep conviction, that's spiritual pride. What else? I am in the movement of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hari bol.
Pride of Guru.
Hari
Yes.
bol.
Parima Mataji wanted to say something.
Pride of Guru Parampara, Prabhuji. I just wanted to say. You said
Okay,
that.
yes, they are associated with this Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Guru Shishya Sampradaya, which begins right from Krishna. Yes, we are from this. People take pride, material pride. Okay, I am from MIT. I'm from Harvard. I'm from Stanford, etc. So people develop pride in their alma mater. We can say, I'm from Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Guru Shishya Sampradaya. We can say that. That's spiritual pride. Very good. Anything else? Anyone else?
That
Can we be proud whether we are born in when Krishna has appeared? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared just 5,000 years back and 500 days back. Can we be proud of that?
Definitely. We can be proud that we are so close to Gauranga, just 500 years. Yes, we can be. Definitely. Just so Prabhupada would say just 500 years ago, and the materialistic people would get confused. 500 years ago, you're just calling it just 500 years? Because Prabhupada knows. Prabhupada knows the history, knows the, say, when is the universe created, etc. Okay.
We are all working towards a worthy spiritual goal, the best worthy spiritual goal.
Yes, we are having such a great goal, going back home, back to Godhead, rekindling our Krishna conscious wisdom, reviving our prema. What a goal. We can be proud that we are working. Prema Pumarto Mahan. This is the highest goal we are striving for. Yes, very good. Proud to be in Achyuta Gotra. Very good. Yeah. Proud. I'm just reading some online answers. We are proud to be a part of Hare Krishna movement.
We'll
Okay.
be the future residents of Goloka and servants of Radhika.
Oh, yes. We have an opportunity to be residents of Sri Sri Vrindavan Dham, serving under. Very nice. Amazing.
we have to we are following the will of Krishna for our lives, like
Very
his
good.
purpose for us more than following our purpose for our lives.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Yes, definitely. We are part of such a glorious institution and movement like ISKCON, which is following the teachings of Krishna very purely. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Part of Bhakti Sangha group.
Yeah, okay. I'm proud to be a part of Bhakti Sangha Japa group. Amazing. Very nice.
I think this is most important that we are the part of Bhakti Sangha group. As far as I concern, I feel very obliged, Prabhuji, that speakers are you, just like you. I mean, I'm able to hear you, na? The great thinking and all glories of Krishna, pastime of Krishna. So it is very much, I feel very much fortunate.
It's amazing.
East or west, Bhakti
All
Sangha
of
is the
good
best.
fortune. Yes. East or west, Krishna consciousness is the best. Yes. This is
Bhakti
spiritual.
Sangha is the best. Bhakti Sangha is the best. Bhakti
Okay,
Sangha
Bhakti
is the
Sangha
best.
is the best. Very nice. Hari Bol. Jai. Very good.
Yes. So most proud is like I am the eternal servant of the Lord and servant of the servant of
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. Jai. Okay, so I could.
We are from Rupanuga Parampara, serving Das Dasanu Das Bhav by our Acharya Gण and our Guru Parampara.
That's really good.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
প্রভুজি আমি বাংলা জানি ইজ ইট এ প্রাউডনেস আমি ক্যালকাটার মানুষ বাংলা কথা বলতে পারি মহাপ্রভুর ভাষা বলতে পারি ইজ ইট এ প্রাউডনেস
Well, Bangla jani khub bhalo chhe. It's so nice to know, Mom. Very nice. It's a language from the spiritual world. It's Mahaprabhu's Katha. Very nice. So we can read. In fact, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that Chaitanya Charitamrita is such as this is a real Bengali sweet, and Vaishnavas from all over the world will learn Bengali. People from all over the world will learn Bengali to study Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita to realize the rasa.
Rasgulla language. It's called Rasgulla language.
Rasgulla language. So nice. Thank you.
Because of the grace of Srila Prabhupada, we have access to the knowledge of the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is not at all accessible to most of the people around us.
Yes. So most importantly, finally, I would like to conclude with this. When we are talking about spiritual pride, we should never ever forget His divine grace. Yes, His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The moment we disconnect Srila Prabhupada and our divine grace, Guru and our divine grace, then our spiritual pride can also be material pride. Yes, so always remember everything in connection with His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. I'm just informing Raj Prabhu that I have to travel about half an hour to go for another program. So we can keep the question answers accordingly. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanva Pranam, Prabhu. What an amazing class, Prabhu. What an amazing class. Now, every time, for me, sure, every time I will be having proud of anything, I'll be remembering this session and just then contemplating on my
Please
proud.
pray I remember what I spoke.
Oh, no, Prabhu. You pray for us, Prabhu. You said earlier, if Raj allows me, no, Prabhu, Raj is nothing, a biggest idiot. This session is all about you and we getting the mercy from you through our parampara. That's what this session is about, Prabhu. You come and just give us so many beautiful insights and try to connect us to what we are doing. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I loved your PhD. Thank God I'm not a PhD, so permanent head damage.
No, you can even be Paramahamsdas.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu.
You're Krishna conscious.
You just bless me that I can be a servant of the servant. That's it, Prabhu. I love the hero zero and boss is ass and das is bin das. Yes, that's what we want to be, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
That's
And
our common
certainly,
observation in this world. Shastra Chaksha.
it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It can just remain right here. And certainly post and the followers can bewilder us, but we should certainly keep always Krishna and Guru in mind. That's so beautiful, class, Prabhu. So beautiful. Prabhu, there are already few hands raised. So Sukha Kara Prabhu, please go ahead. Sukha Kara Krishna Das Prabhu, please go ahead.
Prabhu. What I can see is, I am seeing as a mercy personified, Prabhu. Really, I met you now. You are a mercy personified, and we want you always. Your Ashirvad is required, and your support, your advice. Thank you very much, Prabhu, at your lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
You're elder, Prabhu. I need your blessings. You're like my father. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you for this session. Really, it's like through you all gurus that we are able to connect to the Supreme and learn about him, and through the Shastras also. And would really want to learn more by attending the sessions regularly. Prabhuji, it was really very insightful. And I have a question actually. Like, is it okay for us to about the mind, Prabhuji? It's like almost like a feeling like Arjuna that he said in the Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes we don't want some thoughts to come in our mind, but they naturally come in our mind, and sometimes we critique ourselves because of that. We say, no, it's a wrong thought. We don't want you, and then we chant God's name. But yet thoughts somehow come, Prabhuji, and if we stop them, they come more. So is there any solution for that? Like, how can we just like get only pleasant thoughts and thoughts of the Lord in our head always?
There are two kinds of people in this world. The first category are those people who live by default. Most of them. The second category is those who live by design.
Yes,
so when we live by default, then we allow ourselves, we allow our mind to pick up all the garbage and nonsense that is just prevalent everywhere. On the other hand, when we live by design, that is when we are training our mind to pick up the essence from everywhere. Because ultimately, what our eyes watch, what our ears hear, what our nose smells, what our tongue tastes, and our skin touches, that's the experience that is going to be embedded in the mind. So it's up to all of us to adhere to the right activities and give our mind prolonged exposure to such activities. That's how the mind will be trained eventually to be Krishna conscious. I'd give you homework. You can read Bhagavad Gita's 7th chapter, first law. You can read that to get a detailed understanding of how exactly to soak our minds in Krishna consciousness. So we have to train our mind by prolonged exposure to Krishna conscious items and refrain completely from material items. 7.1 homework. Thank you. I can take 2 more questions, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
His Grace Raj Prabhu, please.
Ramakrishna Prabhu.
Yeah, Jyoti Mataji and Ramakrishna. Maybe 2 questions. That's it.
Quickly go ahead. You have to unmute yourself. We cannot unmute you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll go ahead.
Please.
My question to you is, if one is learning the Shastras and one get the position because of the pious activities which are going along, say one is chanting, and he'll be automatically being proud. I mean, he'll feel proud though he is practicing. Then also means that there must be some balance, because one has to be humble also. So how one can practice both the qualities, because it will be very difficult, and one needs the guru or some sadhu association from there might come, but it for the self practicing, how we can cross check.
So as what I understand from your question is, by pious credits, one may receive a position. And we observed in our two examples that we took, that position, one is vulnerable to falling prey to false pride. So how exactly do we defend ourselves or guard ourselves from this particular inviting? We don't want to invite a calamity on our life, on our spiritual life especially. So how do we strongly guard? Yes. So when we get a particular position, we have to see that position. Of course, a devotee sees everything as an opportunity to serve. So we have to use our position and not misuse or abuse others with our position. We're supposed to serve our people and not exploit our people using our position. And the moment you become a leader, you're having a position, what is the first thing that Lord Krishna teaches? Yad yad acharati sreshthas tapta deveta rojana. People are going to look up to you. So when we take a responsibility, now it's a very famous dialogue of a very famous movie, with great power comes great responsibility. We all know that. It comes in Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. We have to understand that responsibility. So more we understand Srimad Bhagavatam, because that is why, what is Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam is how leaders, yes, great kings, have led a very spiritually responsible life. So we have to, moment we gain that, that's why Srila Prabhupada would say the Srimad Bhagavatam is for the leaders. So we pick up the Srimad Bhagavatam and read, and we understand that how the kings in Vedic times, they have led a very Krishna conscious and a responsible life, and steered the entire community towards a very responsible situation. Everybody is responsible.
Prabhuji, it means that it will drill down to our conduct and the behavior that we
our acharan. See, three things:
towards our
achar,
duties.
vichar, prachar. Achar, first thing is our behavior, conduct. Second is vichar, our thought process that happens with the shastras. And coming to the third process is our actions. How do we engage the people? How exactly we don't exploit and abuse the powers? So,
Prabhuji,
achar,
please
vichar, prachar.
quickly answer my second question. I'm trying to learn the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. So I want to pronounce it without mistake. What could I do?
Pronunciation.
How to...
Listen to
how I
devotees who pronounce nicely. Listen to the pronunciation of devotees who have already done. Now we are in information age. There are wonderful ISKCON Vaishnavas, ISKCON devotees who have so beautifully sung the shlokas of Gita. You can listen, and as you're listening, we learn very fast through listening. You can listen and learn.
Is there any book for that?
Book? For what?
To learn the basic Sanskrit
Audio.
of learning the pronunciation of something.
There is Sanskrit pronunciation guide given by Prabhupada.
Every Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita last page is they teach Sanskrit. So you read that and you will learn Sanskrit. Even the Americans and all English people, they learn shlokas because of that.
See, before even a child learns the alphabets, the child learns how to speak by hearing. Hearing is powerful. I would like to take Ramakrishna Prabhu's question, because he is, although he is not unmuting, but he has given his question. I am chanting, but people around me are so bad and ignorant. I feel proud about my caste and Vaishnavism. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, kindly tell how to fix and overcome that pride. All right. Why we should always remember one thing. Another way to tackle pride is to remember who we were without the grace of Vaishnavas and who we are after receiving the grace of Vaishnavas. The past and the present, we are supposed to contemplate. And if it were not to be the Vaishnavas, where we would have been. That is why there is a bhajan, right? Yadi gaur na hoi to, tabe ki hoi to, ke mon hari tam ke. He's singing, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wouldn't have come, then what would have happened? Exactly. So similarly, if Vaishnavas wouldn't have come to my life, there was no Srila Prabhupada in our life. Yadi Prabhupada nahi hoto, tabe ki hoi to. So we minus the mercy of Vaishnavas, minus the mercy of Guru, minus the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, where we would have been. If we simply contemplate on this, we will understand what we were, where we were heading towards. Which we can read the hellish planets and we can which hellish planet I was heading towards. 28 types of hell. Yes, we can analyze. Oh, I was practically going to go through everything. 28, all 28. But Guru saved me. Krishna saved me. We should always remember that. I'll give you a homework. You can meditate on that verse. Because even Prahlad Maharaj was in a similar situation, but he was humble. He was not proud. And he read a particular verse. I'll give you the verse. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe. Yes. This is 7:9:28. Please read this. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe kama vikama anuya prapatan prasangat kritvatmasa surarishina bhagavan grihita soham katam na visrijeta vabhritya sevam. So he's contemplating what would have been my life without you, without Guru. Yes, so please contemplate on this verse. This will really make us humble.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you for a beautiful class, Prabhu. Thank you again for your time. We know you are so busy with your other classes and with your sessions. So thank you so much. We will look forward for your association again in the future, Prabhu, so you can enlighten all of us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dear devotees, let us pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. It's already too late. Vancha
kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha
patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ji ki jai. Great Sanatan Dharma Prabhu ji ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very much.
At least last in the end, could you all turn on your videos? I would like to see everyone. In the end, the class is over. Nice to see you.
They are
We
coming
want
up.
you always. You are so nice. You are so wonderful, Sanatan. We want you always.
Your words are making me humble.
You are wonderful, Prabhu. Please bless us, Prabhu, so we can do our sadhana.
You're already blessed.
Yeah.
And by serving all of you, I'm getting some blessings, a tidbits of blessings. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
பார்த்து ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு.
பார்த்து சந்தோஷமா இருக்கா? ரொம்ப நல்லா.
And every day and your problem will be solved.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone for joining today's class. We have everyday class, everyday Srimad Bhagavatam. We read verse by verse. Please do join us. Hare Krishna. Closing the call for today.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.